Right now, there are close to 500,000 boats listed for sale worldwide. Yacht World alone shows 70 to 80,000. Then Boat Trader, the Yacht Market, Boat24, private listings. It adds up fast. Almost 80% of them are pre-owned. New boats sit on the market for months, used ones sometimes a year or longer. If you're watching this, you've probably already seen the clickbait. The boat market is crashing. Nobody wants these catamarans. Prices in free fall. There's a whole genre of these. Most of them are recycling the same 3 data points with capital letters in the title, with a strong smell of a lazy AI slop. I want to do something different. I've been in this business long enough to have seen this movie before, and I want to tell you clearly, practically, what to actually do about it, whether you're buying or selling. If that's the kind of content you look for, boats, real numbers, no clickbait, hit subscribe. I'm Nikita Gorchakov. I've been in the yachting since 2004. If you want the full story, check out my earlier videos about why you shouldn't buy a boat or the one about river yachting. The links should appear somewhere here. But today, the market. Markets are cyclical. This is not new. Before we talk strategy, a reality check. I've been through several of these. I watched the 2005-2006 peak when boats were selling themselves. Then 2008 happened and the floor fell out. Dealers lost a third of their business. 40% of US dealership went under. Major builders followed. In the US, Genmar, parent of Wellcraft, Glastron and a dozen of other brands, went bankrupt. In Europe, the Ferretti Group defaulted on over €1 billion in debt and was eventually sold to a Chinese conglomerate. Rodriguez Group, Mangusta's worldwide distributor and parent of Camper & Nicholson's, collapsed entirely. Baglietto went into liquidation. Rumors were Azimut Binetti is next. Luckily, it didn't happen. The shockwave kept hitting for 4 years after the initial crash. In Sweden, the sailing yacht builder Najad filed for bankruptcy in 2011. Nimbus followed in 2012. It took 5 to 7 years for the market to recover. By 2014-2015, things were stable again. And then came COVID. Suddenly, everybody wanted a boat. Near zero interest rates and stimulus money put cash in people's hands. And there was no better place for social distancing than your own vessel. People figured that out fast. 1 million first-time buyers entered the market between 2020 and 2022. Boats sold above asking price, wait lists stretched 2 years, some felt like it would never end. It ended. US new powerboat sales peaked at 320,000 units in 2020. In 2025, that number was 215,000, a 33% drop, 5 consecutive years of decline, the lowest since just after the Great Recession. Most of those videos call it a crash. I'd call it a cycle. Yacht market cycles run about 7 years. We are entering year 4. I believe we're not at the bottom yet. That's another year or 2 away. And from there, a gradual climb back to a seller's market. If you understand this, everything else I'm about to say makes sense. One important caveat: the market is split. Below 80 feet, yes, a buyer's market. Above 80 feet, super yachts, the picture is more nuanced. Transaction volume was strong in 2025 for super yachts, yes, but even there, inventory is growing and boats are sitting longer. The ones moving fast are liquid brands in pristine condition from top builders. Yachts bought at peak prices with a less-known pedigree, these are struggling too. So when I say buyer's market, I'm talking about the segment the majority of people watching this are in. There are, of course, exceptions. What to do if you're a buyer? Be patient, have options, don't fall in love. Your position is the simplest. Time is on your side. Dealers are under pressure. 67% say their stock is too high. 2/3 of them. That's your leverage. But many private owners listing their boats on brokerage haven't caught up with reality yet. They're still pricing off the 21-22 peak. A boat that sold for $1.2 million during COVID is not worth $1.2 million today. It might be worth $700,000. Some sellers know this. Many don't. Be patient, keep multiple options open, The worst thing you can do is fall in love with one specific boat and negotiate from that emotion. In normal times, closing 5 to 15% below asking was considered a good deal. Right now, discounts of 50 or even 60% off asking price are real, but nobody will hand you that. You need patience. You circle the seller, you wait, you let time do the work. Not every owner will go there. Sellers have pride, and many would rather hold the boat another year or two than sell at a number that hurts. But the ones who need to move, they exist, and with patience, you find them. Number 2, don't buy a refit project. Not right now, at least. After the 2008 crash, there were bank repossessed yachts everywhere. We helped clients buy 100 feet plus Sunseekers, aluminium Baglietto builds, other serious Italian yachts at basically scrap metal prices. Stripped of some navigation gear, neglected for years. The buyers would fix them up, and the math worked. That math has gotten much harder. Labor costs are up across the board. Yards are overloaded. Spare parts are expensive. Buying an older yacht and putting fresh engines, electronics, and interior on it costs a ton, and in most cases isn't worth it, unless you have your own proven contractors from outside the yachting world. One of our clients had fine joinery specialists from Eastern Europe who normally worked on his houses. They would do a full interior refit on a 150 feet yacht with cherry wood, high-end upholstery at a fifth of what specialized yacht contractors quoted. Same quality. But that's the exception. For everyone else, the 2009-2010 conditions, cheap labor, desperate yards, don't exist today. Here's another paradox of boat condition. If an owner can afford to maintain a boat perfectly, everyone wants to buy a perfect boat, he probably doesn't need to sell it at a fire sale price. The sweet spot is what I call change of plan boats. Owners who invested heavily in a refit or blue water prep, then their circumstances shifted. Health, divorce, business change. The money has been spent, they want out clean. Those are the boats to find. 3. Buy a good boat from a brand nobody brags about. The best deals could be found for boats in good condition from lesser-known builders, such as Pearl Yachts or Aston Doa, for example, or yards that no longer operate with models long out of production. Solid boats, well-designed, well-built, but they don't carry the name recognition of a Princess or a Sunseeker. Owners of these boats understand they need to offer real discounts to move them. A Sunseeker owner still thinks his brand name alone is worth a premium. Maybe it is, normally, but at times like this, you can get a comparable boat from a less prominent builder at a significantly lower price. 4. Do a geo-arbitrage. Geography matters more than you think. Some markets are far more oversupplied than others. The Caribbean, for example, is saturated with catamarans and ex-charter boats. If you can relocate a boat, that's where the most motivated sellers sit. If you're American, buy American-listed boats. The dollar is weak against the euro right now. Add the new 15% tariff on EU-built boats, and importing from Europe has become expensive. If you are European planning to boat in the Med, look north first. Scandinavian owners maintain the boats to a different standard. Indoor winter storage, full service history, less salt, less sun, impeccable culture of care. For the same money, you'll get a better boat in Sweden or Norway than on the Riviera, and the delivery trip south through the canals and rivers of Europe is half the adventure. I cover that in my river yachting video. What to do if you're a seller? This is harder, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Option 1. Don't sell, use the boat. If you can afford to hold, hold. This is ultimately the best thing to do now. Take that trip you've been postponing for 5 years, or put the boat in charter through a peer-to-peer platform such as Get My Boat, Boatsetter, Click and Boat. You won't get rich. Realistic charter income offsets 20 to 50% of your operating costs, and in the right location it can cover them entirely. But even 20 to 50% saving on OPEX could be better than selling at the bottom of the cycle. Option 2. Lay it up. If you're not going to use the boat and don't want to charter it, put it in a proper cold lay up. Move to a cheaper marina, haul it out, cut to skeleton crew or no crew. A well-prepared yacht can sit for 2 to 3 years without losing quality. But, and this is critical, you need to recommission it once a year, every year. Engines that sit without running get stuck piston rings or seized turbochargers. Diesel fuel grows bacteria. Splash the boat, run the engines under load for a couple of hours. Run every system. Water maker membranes are the first to go in 6 months, so it's easier to remove them entirely and budget for the new ones when you sell. If done right, a cold layup cuts your annual running costs by 70 to 80%. Insurance is cheaper on shore storage too, in most places. Still could be better than selling at the bottom. Option 3. Sell in installments. If you can't find a buyer at your price, but the boat has real value, consider owner financing. A buyer makes a down payment 25 to 40% and pays the rest in annual installments. You retain the title until fully paid. And make sure you're named as co-assured on policy. If anything happens to the boat before it's paid off, you need to be covered. We arranged one of these with a sailing yacht over 100 feet. Comparable boats in that segment were asking 6-7 million. The owner's asking price was around 4, already a strong number for the buyer, but every offer that came in was 2.5 at best. The boat was a little old. Then the seller made a deal with someone he knew. Full asking price, 5 annual installments, no interest, no discount, just patience and trust. In the Middle East, Dubai especially, this is natural. Payment plans for cars or real estate are part of the culture. Be open to it. Current bank rates of 8 to 12%, a seller offering free financing is extremely attractive. Option 4. Donate it. This works mainly in the US. Donate the yacht to a qualified nonprofit, a sailing school, a university maritime program, a marine research organization. If the charity actually uses the boat, you can deduct the full fair market value from your taxable income. Germany and France have similar mechanisms on paper, though the infrastructure of boat accepting charities barely exists there yet, but in a market like this, that could change. The catch: many charities resell donated boats rather than use them. If they do, your deduction equals the sale price, not the appraised value. In a depressed market, that sales price will be low. The best scenario is finding an organization that truly needs a vessel. Sailing programs are the obvious match, but some motor yachts work too. We had a client whose expedition yacht was used as a research vessel for a university. Even a smaller motor yacht around 80 feet can serve as a student research platform. The options are wider than people think. We're actually building a matching section on itBoat, connecting owners with nonprofits who actually need boats. If you're looking to donate a vessel or you're a nonprofit ready to accept one, say so in the comments. Maybe you'll find each other right here. And of course, this is not tax advice. Check with your accountant. But even if the tax benefit isn't massive, there's something to be said for exiting an asset gracefully. Option 5, accept reality and do a quick exit. We have a saying where I come from: better a terrible end than endless terror. If you've been listing for over a year, dropping the price every few months, bleeding 5 or 6 digit sums annually in carrying costs, maybe it's time to rip the band-aid. Set your absolute floor price. Be ready for significant discounts. This market does that to people. But a large discount lets you dictate other terms. Instead of subject to survey and sea trial, sell on as is where is terms. No survey, no trial, no renegotiation after the handshake. Good maintenance records help enormously here. And it can be a fast deal. Sometimes fast is exactly what you need. Price the boat below comparable listings. When yours is the cheapest option for that model, every buyer looking in that segment will send you a request. Most will push for additional discounts. That's part of the game. But now you're the one with choices. Different offers, different timelines. You pick the deal that works best. Buyer's market, seller's market. These are just positions on a wheel that keeps turning. I've seen it turn 4 times in my career. it will turn again. If you're buying, be disciplined, be patient, pick the right boat at the right price. If you're selling, don't panic, but don't wait forever either. Calculate your numbers, make a plan and execute it. We're all in the same industry. We all weather the same storms. This storm will end. Drop your situation in the comments. Buying, selling, holding. I'll respond to as many as I can. If you know someone sitting on a boat they can't sell, send them this video. It might save them a year of frustration. And if you're new here, subscribe. More real talk boating content is coming. And see you on the water.